Welcome to the channel for the first time viewers. Welcome back from my existing subscribers. Today I'm going to talk about Battlefield 1 and how it was just a disappointing game in my opinion and from my experiences, what was lacking and what I feel like they need to improve on to make Battlefield 5 a success story versus, in my opinion and in my experience, a story of a failure, which was Battlefield 1, an ambitious game, but it just was not fun. So I'm a pretty easy gamer to please as long as you have tight gameplay and just decent graphics. I'll give your game a shot, and I've been playing Battlefield for as long as I can remember. Back in the PS2 days when you had the hot swap, I think it was Battlefield 2, when you had the hot swap feature, and that was the cool thing that EA was toting at the time, EA and DICE. But ever since then, we had Battlefield 3, which in my opinion has been my favorite Battlefield as far as the multiplayer experience has gone. I don't really play games for the single player these days because a lot of them, after being around and playing so many games over the years, I mean, there's only so many ways you can dice up a story, and I feel like every now and then you get something that is unique and new, or a new perspective on an existing story. But for the most part, a lot of them are just cookie cutter. They're very samey and they're not very intriguing to me. So I like to focus on the multiplayer. And what I liked about the Battlefield 3 multiplayer is that pretty much the guns, man, there were so many guns to choose from. The gunplay was tight. The enemies were pretty spongy, but the gunplay was tight, so it felt rewarding. And when you had a gun with a high fire rate, you could feel the difference. You know what I mean? Because you would just melt your opponents. Like when you had the ACR, and you would run up against somebody, you would pretty much obliterate them because your gun would just shoot so many more bullets that essentially this person had no chance, and it felt really good. But the gun was also harder to control. It had a little bit more recoil than your guns with slower rate of fires. So, and your attachments mattered. And I feel like when they came out with Battlefield 1, they wanted to do something and go back to an era that really hadn't been done in gaming before, and I get that. But the way that they went about it, taking away all customization because it fit the era, yeah, that was more realistic. But at the same time, you're making a video game, and those things were some of the things that I look forward to doing. So in the end, it just ended up just being really tacky to me. Fast forward to Battlefield 4. That was a better spin on Battlefield 3. They improved on a lot of things, but to me, Battlefield 4 was not better than Battlefield 3. It was just Battlefield 3 on steroids. You know what I mean? It was just like they took a good game, they made it a little bit better as far as, the graphics, and I don't really even think like the weapon system was better. I feel like the Battlefield 3 weapon system was the best. And the second thing, which Battlefield 5 hopefully addresses the correct way, and it looks like they will, is the division of the players, man. I can't tell you how annoying it was to have the pressure to buy the season pass on Battlefield 1. So you buy the season pass, right, like me. I had the game on PS4. I own it on PC now. I got the Revolution edition. So I know a lot of players were salty that they got the day one edition, bought the season pass for $50, and then like 3 or 4 months later, a new player could come along and buy the whole thing that they just got for $60. So that was kind of like a bad play by EA and DICE. But either way, I got the game on PC now, and I can't play on any new maps, man. That is so frustrating to me. It's been an issue with Battlefield ever since I can remember. Battlefield 3, I don't really remember that being an issue as far as the division of the players. Battlefield 4 for sure. I loved playing Dragon's Teeth, and there was never any servers online. I couldn't play Chainlink. That was one of my favorite game modes. I love Chainlink. In the, I don't even know how to say it, but the Limfini Garden or whatever it was. I used to love that. Run around with the MPX and do your thing. There was nothing better. But after the DLCs, essentially the life cycle of that DLC had passed, I think the only DLC that had any players when it was done was Last Stand or Final Stand. So to me, that's just one of the biggest issues of most of these games. Call of Duty even. You get the season pass. I have Black Ops 3. I have the season pass. That's the last one I bought the season pass for. I get the new maps maybe once or twice if I go on a 4-hour session, and I don't like that. Versus when they're new, like you get them in rotation regularly because the player pool all has, or mostly has, the new maps because they're actively playing that current game. But once the new game comes out or a new map pack comes out, that old one kind of dies out. And you have the people that end up buying the game at like GameStop, or they get the game later and they just don't have the packs. It's definitely a first world issue to have, but it's just annoying to me that you pay $50 for something and later on, let's say in 4 months time, you won't even be able to access that. So you're like forced to grind it and enjoy it as much as you can, whether or not you have another game that you like or anything like that. So my issue is, like I said, with these new maps on Battlefield 1, the game wasn't even that fun to me. Like I got to like level 60 on PlayStation. And that's after, like, I went literally from like 10 to like 60 in like a few days because one of the new map packs had come out and it was interesting at that time. Like I liked some of the new guns that had come out. But as a shooting game, Battlefield 1 wasn't interesting to me. It wasn't very fun because I can't relate to the era. And that was like kind of my issue when I found out that Battlefield 5 was going to be in World War II. I can't really relate to that era either. I didn't like COD World War II, but I kind of do understand where they're going with this outlandish trailer that a lot of people don't like, which I don't mind because I'd rather a game be fun, as I said in my last video, than ultra realistic. If I wanted something ultra realistic, I'd watch History Channel, which I already do, or I'd just pull up a documentary. I wouldn't want to experience it as a video game. Or if I am looking for that, then I understand this isn't it, and I will go play something different. Like there's a lot of simulation type games on PC that you can play, and I think Verdun is one of the ones that just came out on Xbox as well. So if you really, really want that experience, you could just go and play those types of games. But at the end of the day, a video game is meant to be fun, and a lot of times it's what brings us together. So the fact that these map packs tear us apart over time, I feel like the way that Battlefield 5 is going to address it by giving everybody the maps for free is going to alleviate that issue. Just like Rainbow Six Siege, the player base is not split up. You know what I mean? You have the season pass owners that get the new players or the new characters a week early, and that's fair. And they don't have to pay any renown or any real life cash outside of the cost of the pass for them. So I feel like that's fair. And then you have your regular players that can grind the game for some renown. You save up 25k renown and you wait a week and you can unlock that character. But at the same time, from the day that the season launches, everybody has access to the new map. So we don't have that issue of you don't have this map. So you have to play with the people that don't have this map, which is 90% of the game. You have the map and still play this game, and you're part of the 10%. So you have to go play in the map pool of people that don't have it, or you have to fish and scrounge for maps or players that have that map pack, which is like 10% of, let's say 100. You'd have a choice of 10 people versus 90, you know, and I feel like that's just broken to me. So refocusing just on Battlefield 1 again, it's a decent game for what it is, but for me and my style and games I like, I don't think it's that much fun. And up until recently with this new gun that came out, the Annihilator, I like that gun. I think that gun is really cool. Before that, it was the Hellriegel, but I didn't really play Battlefield that much because I didn't like it. So to get one of my classes to level 10 just to unlock a gun that I thought was cool, I felt like that was just too much of a task, and I wasn't even ready to commit to the game as far as on a basic level. So why would I commit that much time to put into it, you know, on a greater scale? So I never got into it, and I think I eventually got it after that weekend of grinding with the new map pack. I got the Hellriegel, and that was okay on PS4, but I'm definitely not going to grind it on PC. But this gun is pretty fun, man. It's a hip-fire machine, and I'm going to put some gameplay of it throughout this video, which you've already seen. But that, to me, is like one of the things that made me second-guess how DICE delivered this game. They were so hell-bent on making it realistic, making the guns match the era, that I feel like they kind of forgot and left out the fun. And putting this gun in the game and a couple of the other prototypes, like the Lee Enfield Silenced or Suppressed, and I don't know, it's not the Lee, it's like M1913 or something like that, Suppressed Springfield, one of those guns. I don't even know the names of the guns. I don't even play this game that much. So they put some new guns in there, and I feel like the newer guns are a lot more fun, like the SMG 08/13 or whatever it's called. I feel like those are cool, man. Like, you know, they're hip-fire machines. They bring a little bit of life to the game, and they feel a lot better than the original guns that came out with, you know, Spitfire rates of fire and like 15 bullets in a magazine. What is that? Like, how am I supposed to have fun with that? By the time I get half my magazine done, I mean, like, you know what I mean? The guy and the enemies, they are bullet sponges on Battlefield 1. So by the time I get half my magazine done, this dude has like 50 health left, and I have like 32 other players to worry about. Like, what is that? But let me know what you guys think about Battlefield 1. Did you like it? Did you hate it? And what are you thinking about Battlefield 5 in the comments below? And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Be easy.